I'm going to try to make this as quickly as possible. I created a really fast bass line. I specifically chose a bass sound that would have a little bit of top end to it. So it's got that little fuzzy sound in the high end. I think most people like their bass to be down the middle, but I understand you want to try to isolate just the highs and then only have the highs be shifted left and right. So the way I would do that is I would add in multiband. And the way multiband works is if you run it, I'm sorry, I'm on an iPhone. Right now everything is just coming out of bus 1, but if I click the little plus button on the far right side, it creates another output. And if you click on the little handle, it chooses how much it's coming in and out. So if I if I hit play now, so since I only have channel 1, anything to the left of this divider is going to be audible. Anything on the right is silent, and the reason why is because we didn't create bus 2 yet. So if I come over here and I create another channel, create audio, and you can't put it in the instrument slot on the top. It's an effect. You see it's on the effect slot. So if you go to the effect slot and you choose multi-bus audio unit, multiband will show up. If I try it up at the top, the only thing that shows up here is koala, so not multiband. But now if I hit play, you'll hear that the stuff that's coming out of the second on the second bus is coming out of the second channel. So when I drag, I'm soloing now only what I'm calling the high end. So you don't want the bass. So, I mean, I don't know, this is to taste, but now I only have pretty much that high resonant part coming out of track 2. I soloed it, and you heard as I was dragging it, I didn't want the more bassy part, so I just kept dragging to the right until I got just the higher part. And now you're saying, well, how do I split that wide? And so I would just add in either, like I said to you in the message, I would either use the built-in AUM effect, so the stereo processing, you've got like mid-side balance. If I shoot this all the way to the so this would be smack down the middle, this would be more spread out. If I go all the way to the right, you're going to see you can barely hear anything. I don't even know if it's audible, but if I bring in a little, I start to hear it. That's about split as wide as you can, and you know it's a little quiet, so you might want to change the gain on it or whatever you want. But that's one way to do it. And the other way is to try something like wider, and just in this case, you probably want to just jack it completely up so that you actually hear the effect. But so this is both, right? And that would be just wider, right? So that's how I would do it. And multiband's great. I use multiband for everything. You know, right now we're only doing it so I could isolate the bass sound with the high end, but I'll do an entire sample with the whole entire frequency range in here. And so I kind of want to do like four bands, right? I'll try to isolate the bass sound and try to isolate the high bass sound and the mid range and the highs, and I'll run it out through four outputs, and I'll put different effects on everything. So like multiband, this is how you do multiband compression. If you put a compressor on every 4 of the bands, you could choose which part of the band you want to compress at different amounts. So many tools use multiband or the same multiband concept, and they're just putting different things on it. Like FAC Bandit is a great example. All it's doing is it's dividing up a signal into multiple ranges. I think only 3 Bandit does. This does 4, but you could pick and choose what effects you want on it. So this is incredibly powerful. I really think for a free tool, it's really truly one of the best tools. So it's absolutely worth learning. And so if you wanted the 4 channels, all you'd have to do is duplicate this and you've got your 4 channels. I mean, it's that simple. You probably don't want the wider on all the other channels, but it's very cool. All right, hopefully this helps.